So in this video, people, we had 3 tornado warnings that day, last night, and they came through. So they went up to the Crab Orchid area. I'm about at least 8 miles east of Ozone Falls. So I'm down in the below the plateau. And in the video, you'll actually see some, I think they're tornadoes. You'll see the dark black clouds. You have to pause the video and look at it. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's like, it's in 2-part videos you can see inside of it. So we had a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings last night. But we had 3 tornado warnings that were moving fast. But what you're hearing in the background is my mother taking my dad down in the basement. So me and my sister we're trying to get him down there on this ramp. And he's a disabled vet. And he can't walk or anything like that. And he had a stroke back in 2019. So we were trying to get him downstairs in the basement because we had tornado warnings about, I think, a good at least 30 miles away. It was coming from Spencer, Tennessee. And we were watching Ryan Hall on YouTube and the local Knoxville news on those channels. But I think the tornado missed our area quite a bit. I think a good at least 8 to 12 miles from here. They went into Crab Orchid up to I-40. But we're usually nearby Highway 27 out in that area, about 8 miles east of Crab Orchid and 8 miles east of Ozone Falls. So we can actually see it to our west on our camera we're looking at here. This camera is using a temu GoPro type camera, which I got it pretty cheap. So we got it in a waterproof case and running a battery thing in it, battery bank. But we lost power for 40 minutes that day. I just want to let you know. And we had a lot of power flashes. And we lost internet for at least almost 12 hours on our DSL system. But we had cell phone internet during the storm. I had my weather radio ready to go. With my Randy 2. Siberian walkie-talkie. We did pick up on one weather station out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. They said the National Weather Service on the NOAA weather radio was actually down. I don't know if it was true, but I heard about this while someone was telling me about this. We had Chattanooga, Tennessee during the storm, but we had cell phone internet. We still had DSL during the storm, watching the radars on Ryan Hall. Down in my sister's basement where I put my mom put my dad down there, close up, and we actually took our Benny dog down there, left the dogs upstairs. But we had a lot of rain and a lot of power flicker outages, number of times, and I think like the second time we lost the main DSL line in the storm. So you can see in the video here, you guys can see the see where you're pointing above the sky right there. That's pointing my CB antenna beam antenna you see out there in the video. That's my serial 4-element beam. It's pretty concrete to the ground, pretty good. It's got cowline rope, even the Mako V5000. They did quite good with the thunderstorm last night, because they can rate to 100-mile-an-hour winds. These antennas can hold up. And I got, and this pole is definitely bolted to the ground. It has a lot of 3 feet concrete in the ground, and one has 2 foot in the concrete. The main mast has these 2 foot in concrete in the ground, almost 3 feet, and the wooden one with the crank up one actually has at least 3 foot of concrete in the ground. I put it pretty deep on that, what I did. So we had a lot of inline winds, mostly like twig type branches that broke off. But on the other side of the block, a couple of miles away here, they had a tree that landed down somebody's road somewhere. My mother was telling me it was like some tree that landed down. That's probably what knocked out the power line last night. But when we got the power lost for 40 minutes last night, then the power came back on at least about an hour or 2 hours later. They did. So I think about an hour later they did. But I'm glad the people who got our power back on, you did a great job. Thanks for taking your risk, your lives out in the storm that night. So waving to you. And I think everybody, but we get lucky here because mostly the storms stay up on the plateau, because the tornadoes usually break up on the plateau in this area. So they have a 2,000 foot plateau. I'm like 800 feet in the valley, pretty quite low. Mostly tornadoes don't hit down here very rarely, often. But I tell you, I recommend people need to get storm shelters in this whole entire area. They need to get something, someone needs to come up with something like that. And This area needs like tornado shelter in somewhere in town, somewhere where people can go evacuate. They need something like a big tornado shelter. Maybe the schools have them, I don't know. But we had some pretty bad severe thunderstorm. Mostly this house has been around since the 70s, some have been around from the 40s, 60s. They've probably been through a lot of tornadoes back in the past. But this tornado would probably look like on the radar on this video you can see coming in. It moved pretty fast. I think we had like 3 to 4 tornadoes in the background. You can see it missed my area. They're actually heading northwest direction. I think they're heading northwest direction, or due north where it's going. I think it's going to Crab Orchid, West Tail area, somewhere up toward those areas, toward Harriman. And it was actually moving pretty quite fast. And in some of the video, I think you can see aqua green marine lightning or green lightning. I think it's from the power flashes. I think it hit some main lines up there, area up by the Wally World in Rockwood. And I think that's what happened. But these National Weather Service are not going to show this on video. So this gives an idea for them. They can see this. It's not a good quality video, but it gives you an idea. You can see where the storm's traveling up. But I hope people actually get the video out there real soon. But I hope people put out more videos out there real soon. So we're going to show you the rest of the video, what's going on here. So I'm no meteorologist or weather person out there. I'm just trying to get this video out there for you guys out there. And in case like the National Weather Service or any storm chasers want to look at this video, they can go ahead and see that thing in the background so you can see the idea. We got the timestamp on this video. You guys can see where it's coming in. You can see some like 3 tornadoes up there, or could be. And the next one, it gets dark. I know you hear my mother yell in the background because we're getting him downstairs in a stretcher. You guys know what it is. And what me and my sister are pushing, my mother's doing, to get down in the basement from a glass open door down there, and in her room to keep him safe in there, and watching the weather radar, even watching Ryan Hall on YouTube. So we had to plan this way ahead, and we done this practice back several months ago to bring him down in the basement in case a tornado happens. But I don't think a tornado did happen in this area, but could have happened. But I think it was. It probably was like 8 to 12 miles away from our location. It just moved so fast what it did. But I just wanted to see people relook at this video. Maybe they can get some confirmed reports on the weather radars. They might be able to see them where they're at, but mostly it looked like it stayed up to Crab Orchid and went to Kingston. But we're actually we're like way on the south side of Rockwood, Tennessee, between Harriman and all those areas, and mostly we're in that area. But mostly it stayed away from our area because it's up by Interstate 40, because Interstate 40 is a good 12 miles away from me, between 8, depends. So it's actually traveling along the plateau, the storm system right now, you see. And you're going to hear a lot of rain and how this video gets really a lot of inline winds and stuff, but mostly the greenhouse would handle up to 50-mile-an-hour winds. So I'm going to let this video roll, and hope you guys enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, but I'm no professional weather meteorologist. I just want to get this out there on YouTube so people can get an idea what happened in Harriman last night and Rockwood area. So I know people don't have any videos on this stuff yet. They have any videos on tornadoes in the area and stuff like that.
Stop. Thank you. Don't hurt yourself.
Do you need a ramp? I got something. Pull back. I've got silver ramp.
We're gonna be food.
Hold on.
Fucking stop.
This.
Hurry up! Let's go. We could be doing this for nothing and he suffers. Other way.
This. That's it.
Okay, go. Get in front of him, Richard.
Got it.
Be quiet. We can't leave him in safety.
Talk about us.
Watch your feet. I gotta keep calling. Wait. Shut up. He's getting in here.
Now you can see the tornadoes back there. You see 3 of them. I don't know if there could be tornadoes there. And the next few minutes there'll be more of them. They're actually going back up, but they're probably coming down. You can see in the flashes where the 3 tornadoes you can see trying to touch down. But when my mother went out to Wally World today, my sister went to go get stuff when I was here at the house today. They told me they were hearing rumors about it, and they said there were like 3 tornadoes were trying to touch down in the local area, Rockwood and Harriman area, last night. That's what most people were saying. I heard from my mother was telling me today. I don't know if these are tornadoes in the background, but you can see they look like shape of funnel clouds. But see all the flashes in the background. But in the next video, it'll be coming up, so you'll be able to see more before it hits the main line. But these are actually like they're probably not been reported on the radar. They can't see it because they're between plateaus, and that's what it is. But they're a good at least 8 to 12 miles away from me. They're pretty far away from me where I'm at. And you can actually see them on the plateau up there where they're moving. So you can actually see the 3 tornadoes in there. They're possibly tornadoes. It looks like them. And you can see the flashes right there. You can look at it right now. And you'll see it in the next video coming up soon on it. Now you can see that little funnel cloud there. It looks like a tornado there. It could be twisters right there. You see, they're pretty far away. You can see it way back there moving. They're actually moving like northwest direction, I think they are, or due north. But they're good at least 8 miles away. But I'm looking at my viewing area between 280 degrees, 270 west. Looking at that direction toward the west. But they're actually moving north, I think they are. Toward that direction, I think they are. So they could be the tornadoes in that area. 8 to 12 miles from where it's at when I'm looking at the view toward that area on the GoPro camera. But I'm already inside the house, so you guys should see it completely what it is. That looks like a possible tornado. Could be true, but look how you're looking at it right now. You can see it right between the tree on the left side, coming in between the middle of the view. But yeah, could be tornadoes, it could be not, but we don't. But some of the stuff has not been reported out there. But just want to see you guys be the judges. See, these are twisters, but it looks like something's trying to form, and they're actually moving north. I think they are. But now you'll see more before the main thunderstorm will come in soon. All that rain. So right now we're getting our dad and my dad inside the house, down in the basement below in my sister's room. That's what you're hearing. We're getting them off the porch ramp. That's what we're doing. We had to took it easy on the driveway. we had to get in, but they didn't know there was tornadoes out there happening at the same time, or the big main thing came in, because there probably were a lot more in the storm cell. There probably were a lot of possible tornadoes in the cell they probably did not detect on radar. So you could still see a moon right there on the right, and it's going back up, and there probably be a little bit more coming in. And probably the major thunderstorm should be here real soon, and it'll start getting worse, but everything's looking good. Everything survived. The antennas did good. The CB antennas did okay. Chicken coop did okay. The garden did okay, and the greenhouse did. It's starting to intensify. You guys see it out there with the storm, with the severe thunderstorm. You guys going to enjoy the lighting show in this thing, and you'll probably see green aqua type light in this too, probably from the power flashes. But it's starting to intensify. But it's like a lighting show. You guys are going to like it, but it's going to get very tense here real minute. A lot of rain, but didn't see a lot of wind in the house, but just a lot of rain, probably some possible wind. Starting to look like the tornado in the background. You can see it right there with the thunderstorm. You can see it right there, starting to form again. You can see it way in the distance. I know you can't see your eyes, but you gotta look at it closely. It could be a tornado, but it looks like that little gray in the thing. You see the up and down like a cone. You could actually see something right there, something big forming. It could be rain showers or tornadoes. You see it right in the middle of the viewing screen. Could be a tornado or it could be rain possibly, but we're looking at it could be hail producers too in these supercell thunderstorms. That looks like a tornado right there. It looks like on the right side. You can see it between the tree, on the right side of the tree, between the middle of the tree. It could be, or possibly a tornado. You guys can see it moving across on the screen. These little cells are probably quite far away, but those little tornado producers could be a tornado, but they're at least 8 to 12 miles away from my location where it's at. But we can see it's moving north. But you can see the thunderstorm cells coming in right now. You guys enjoy the lighting show for the rest of the video, so enjoy this for the next hour or so. Relax. You guys will hear stuff and you'll see things like green flashes, but you guys will start to love it. And enjoy the show in this here. You guys are going to see what the severe thunderstorm is going to sound like in my local area in Rockwood, Harriman, Tennessee, this from May 20th, from yesterday even. And we'll sit down. We lost power a number of times in the storm. We lost it for 40 minutes and it came back on after the storm was done. So just want to let you guys know. And we lost internet connection for our main DSL for 1 day and a half. And we only had cell phone internet still online. So the lightning's starting to intensify. You guys are going to hear all the rain and little wind stuff. You'll be able to hear it. And sit and enjoy the show. And there'll be possible tornadoes in the background. You can see right there. You have to hear it, see what it sounds like. Could be not. But so this is a video for all the guys that live in Harriman, Tennessee, Kingston, Rockwood, anybody who live up in the Crab Orchard area and Crossville area. This is the best video I could get on a GoPro type temu camera. Just want to give you guys an idea of what it looks like, so at least you guys can see this and get you an idea. So don't forget to rate, like, and comment this video. Let me know about your stories, what you went through that night on May 20th, 2025. The main supercell thunderstorm with the tornado in my local area, Rockwood, Harriman, Tennessee, and north on to Harriman. But so good luck on it, and watch the video for the rest of the day, and we'll catch you guys later. We'll let this video roll.
What are you looking at? Pull that plug out.
We need to put a light up in there. Is it wet up there?
That light doesn't work in there. It's all out. It's electricity, Mom. That light will not work during all power.
Oh, that's right.
I have this battery here. It might work.
We can't move yet. It's not stopped raining.
I'm going to get this camera out of the rain. It did pretty good.
Richard, we can't move him yet.
It's
You need to be quiet around Dad.
So everything looked quite good. So you hear me in the background talking all this stuff, but my mother said the greenhouse didn't look like it destroyed because most of the greenhouse we did back in wintertime. It
yeah, look.
when we had 50-mile-an-hour winds, that thing was whipping around like it was crazy. We had to took the plastic thing off. It was back in wintertime, back a few months ago. So that means the main storm cell missed our area, or the tornado cell could have been, but a lot of rain, supercell action, so everything, the antennas got destroyed, nothing, they survived pretty easily. So we're walking around the yard checking it all out. So we're getting the door open up right now to get my dad back in the room in about a few minutes. This video will be fading out real soon, so that's what we're doing right now in the video. Take him out of the basement. I'm letting the rain go up, let up for a few minutes. When it lets up, we actually probably bring him back in the room where he lays in his bed and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing right now, because my mother's just arguing in the video, but that happens. She's very tired and all this stuff, and that's what it is. Plus, we're looking at the the weather on the Knoxville one, and also the Ryan Hall type video on YouTube, and that's what people were watching all this stuff. But some people like the hype of the storm, sometimes they don't. But I don't know. But we didn't see any damage in the area, looking good, except there were a lot of trees down all over my area in my small town today. That's what I heard. And my mother was telling today during when she went to Wally World and stuff to get stuff like that. And mostly we had a tree a couple blocks here that lay on the road, stuff like that. We didn't see anything, but mostly we did quite good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we're okay. So I'm just talking to my mother about, because the power is still out for the last about 25 minutes in this video. After about 20 minutes later, the power came back on after 20 minutes after we got off this video here. So it lasts about 40 minutes for about an hour. But these people are out in the storm repairing power lines. I don't believe they're doing power lines in this weather, or they could have shut off the power system during the storm. But there's no way, impossible way, power men will go out in this kind of severe weather repair lines. But they came on after 20 minutes later when the rain let up. Just want to let you guys know about that in the video.